All right, let's learn a few more amazing Excel tricks. One of them is adding a picture to the background of a graph. Another is how to extend your trend line. And then this business down here at the bottom, how to algebra can be used in the real world where you never even have to do the math again, and why some people think you don't need algebra. So let's do as we did before. Make a graph of this data. Insert a scatter plot. I'll go kind of quickly since our other video covered the details of this. And I can see that I want this to cover April 6th through the 30th. So let's decrease the x-axis. So we'll just have it start at 5. Gives us a little bit more space there. And if we did go back to the 6th, this is going to go higher than 600 it looks. So maybe I'll just guess now and take that up to a maximum of 700. We'll change that later if that turns out not to be true. So there's our graph. Let's add under design, let's add some labels to it. So this graph is the river level, Illinois river level. Illinois in April. And this is the day in April. And this is the level of the river in cubic feet per second. Don't need that series. Now, let's make this look nice. So, one of the things you can do that's real neat is add a picture in the background rather than just adding color. So let's go in here, click on the plot area, right click, go to format plot area. And this time, instead of adding a solid fill, let's actually add a picture to this. So I already went onto Google Images and found a picture of the Illinois River that I saved. So let's go find that. I saved that on a file on my website. This is the green wall, which is one of the reasons to go down the Illinois River. So cool. There now we have a background. That's kind of fun. Let's put a color on the chart area. Let's see, blue. Is that too dark? A little dark. How's that look? Yeah, I can live with that. All right, that's a pretty neat looking graph. I won't worry about a border or anything else at this time. I like those blue, so that's fine. Now let's add a trend line to this. And in this case, that data looked linear, so let's just let it stay a line. Now, here's a couple features. One is I want to be able to display the equation on the chart and display its value, but notice those are kind of hard to see because that picture is dark. Secondly, I said over here, extend your trend line to cover April 6th to the 30th, and right now it's just going to cover the data, which was April 16th to April 26th. So over here, this is forecasting that graph forwards and backwards. So forward, if I wanted to go to April 30th, that'd be 4 days later. So I'll take this to 4 days later. And then backward from the 16th to get back to the 6th, that's 10 days backwards. So if I add a 0 to that and say, are we done there? Say close. There, the graph is extended all the way out. Now, notice it does reach indeed higher than 700, so let's increase that so we can actually see it. Let's see, will 800 make it? Let's try 800. And now let's make this thing a little bit more visible. So a couple things I could do. One of them is I could put this chart up here, but that makes it worse, but that's a dark background, which means if I went into the home screen and changed the text color to be white, then it would stand out. So I want to be able to see that. Make it a little bigger so I can see it. So won't spend any more time with the graph. You can do whatever you want to clean that thing up. Of course, I could make this a little bit smaller. Now this goes clear out to 35, so I could set that a little smaller. I can come back and add in major grid lines and minor grid lines and so forth as we did before, but I'll leave that alone. Other main thing that I wanted you to see off this that's real cool is how to get Excel to do your math for you. So notice our equation is y equals negative 24. That's the slope, remember, and that makes sense because that's telling us this is dropping 24 cubic feet per second per day. And because this is a line, that slope's going to stay consistent. And it also tells us that on day 0, that level was 947. That kind of looks about right. That trend line extended up. Let's see, I wonder if I can make that trend line a different color just so I can see it. Solid line, blue. That's a little more visible. What about white? Yeah, I like that better. Let's go with white. All right, so I can at least see it now. Okay, here's the cool part though. I have this equation that models its flow, and now I could use the equation to predict the future, but let's let Excel do that work for us, and that's what these questions are getting at down here. So this says build a formula in J25. J's up here, 25's over there, so that's cell J25. And notice that there's kind of 4 cells in there, but I'd like this to be nice and big, so I want to show you one thing. If you grab all those cells and go up here to merge and center, notice that will make all 4 of those cells into one cell. And I'll do the same thing over here. So what I would like to be able to do then, rather than have to do this math by hand, is come in here and type, say, day 7. And let's make that nice and big, fills up the whole square so it can really be visible. Let's make it 20, that's probably big enough. And now what I'd like is for this level just to appear automatically. Well, you know algebraically that if I put 7 in for x and I multiply it by negative 24 and add 947, that'd be the answer to this, but let's Excel do that for us. So here's how that works in Excel. You don't type y equals the expression, you just type equals the expression, since there's really not a y in it. So in this cell, if I said this cell equals negative 24.618, I'll round it to 62, times x. Well, here's the part that's interesting. What I don't want to say is times 7 because I want that to change. What I'd like it to do is take negative 24.62 and multiply it by whatever you type in this cell. Well, what cell is this? This is cell G25. So here, if I said times cell, whatever's in cell G25, that's kind of the equivalent of x. And then to that, I'm going to add the 947.8. So all it says is equals all of that. If I click this check mark box, notice it calculates that automatically now. So why this is amazing is you never have to do this again. In other words, what if I said, okay, well, I'd really like to know what's happening on day 12 now. Well, notice it calculates that level automatically. Or I want to predict the future. What's going to happen on day 30? Well, the level's going to be down to 209. So this is one of the reasons you don't see algebra too much in the real world, because it's buried inside machines like this. If you go online to calculate an interest rate or maybe a mortgage for a home or something like that, you end up typing numbers in boxes and then your monthly payment just pops out. Well, this is how that's done, and it's not really all that hard. So I said build a formula in J25 colored green, so let's color that cell green. And this cell is supposed to be colored blue, so let's color that cell blue. So I can control this. Now, that formula is designed, this is what this formula is designed to do. It's designed to take the day as an input and produce the level as an output. And that's a great use of that formula. This question is getting at the reverse. Could you type the level you're interested in? What if you're interested in, let me merge and center that. What if you're interested in, as I am, the Illinois getting down to 150, because that's really its minimum flow. When it gets down to 150, that's the minimum. So if that's the case, what day will that happen? So really, what I really like is for this just to pop out automatically what the day would be. So the level 150 is the y value, and so we need to solve this for x. So in this case, if y was 150 and I had to solve for x, my first move would be to subtract 947 over to the other side with y, and then I would divide by negative 24.62, and that would solve for x. So can I copy the same process over here? So what would I do? I would say, as before, resolving that equation for x, it would be x equals, so I'm typing the equal sign now, x equals the y value, which is sitting in this cell, and then I'd be subtracting 947.8 away from that, 947.8, and then I would be taking all of that divided by negative 24.62. So in order to get all of it, I have to put this in parentheses and say divided by 24 negative 24.62. So that says that happens on day 32 automatically. What about, let's size that up real quick so we can see it. So that says it would get down to 150 on day 32. So now I know I have until the second day into, what is that, May, in order to boat this river. What if it was 200 was my minimum level? Well, now that's going to happen down on day 30. Or what if I wanted to go when it was, say, 450? What day will that happen? That'll happen on day 20. Notice that agrees with the graph up here. That's right about 450. So this says build a formula in J32. That's this one here, and that's colored orange. So let's color it orange. That will display the day rounded to a whole number based on the level entered in cell G32. So this is cell G32, and it's supposed to be colored red, so let's color that red. So now I don't really need this formula anymore. I've just got these cells where I can enter numbers in and get whatever level that I want out. Excellent.